Hello, everyone. A lot has happened since our last Oscar predictions video back in like May. Killers of the Flower Moon might not come out. There's plenty of other movies that have been delayed. We've gotten plenty of trailers. So I think it's finally time to give you some updated Oscar predictions for the 2023 Oscar season before all the festivals occur. That's something else that occurred. We got the lineup for TIFF, Venice, all those places. Um, and those will be happening pretty soon, TIFF in September. So yeah, I need to get my predictions out before all that changes. So let's get right into it. First off, with Best Picture. Okay, so with Best Picture, I'm still struggling picking a winner, to be honest. But my number one right now is The Fablemans, especially now that it's going to TIFF. Um, just movies in general, it seems to have a better awards chance in the end if they end up going to a festival. Even in the acting categories, the movies tend to do better when they end up going to the fall festivals rather than when they're just straight up winter releases without any festival stuff going on. And Spielberg rarely goes to the festivals because he rarely needs that kind of attention put onto his film because he's Spielberg. But I think him bringing this to TIFF is clearly a sign that he's confident in the movie, which is a good sign. And he just killed it with West Side Story, which maybe should have won Best Picture. Either that or Dune, in my opinion. But he just killed it with that. This is a much more personal story for him. This is the first time he's writing the movie. I think it'll probably win the TIFF Audience Award if I'm going to predict that right now. It seems like that kind of movie. But that's kind of like the front runner, to be honest. That starts off leading the season, but like ends up losing to like a smaller movie that comes through. That's what we tend to see with the buzz. So right now, I guess I'm just going to stick with it as my front runner, even though that could very likely happen to this movie. I'm going to still have it at number one. Number two, I have The Son. I have a lot of faith in this movie. Florian Zeller absolutely knocked it out of the park with his first movie. The Father, I think, was the best of that year. Hugh Jackman, Laura Dern, Vanessa Kirby, all these amazing actors. From what it's based on a play and from what the story sounds like, it'll be very, like a very dramatic, almost baity kind of play. Seems like there'll be great performances. I think it's going to be definitely Sony Pictures Classics main push for this award season, and it's going to some festivals. So yeah, I have faith in that, and I honestly do think it could be in the winning competition. But right now, I would not say so. Number three, definitely in the winning conversation. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm the only thing I'm worried about with this movie is A24. They have a surprising amount of contenders this year. I'd honestly say they probably have more contenders than even like Netflix, which is shocking. So I think they know that this is their top dog. This is the one that they really need to push. So I'm hoping that they understand that and that they put most of their might behind this movie getting in there. But I can't really predict what A24 does with their awards campaign. We have yet to see that. Right now, I have faith in them, so I think they'll do a good job. I think it'll definitely get into picture. I think that's pretty solidified by now. I think the buzz and the box office and everything, the word of mouth has been strong enough that I don't think this movie will even come close to being forgotten by the end of the year, kind of like Get Out. So I think it's definitely getting in there. And I think it could be a winner, to be honest. I think it's the kind of movie that could surprise and win. It seems like it could end up maybe winning SAG for that cast. And it would definitely have the passion behind it to be a winner. So yeah, then my number four, Babylon. This is really sight unseen, no trailer, no nothing. Don't really know much about the movie besides Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, set in like old times Hollywood, and it spans a few decades, I think. Test screenings apparently praise Margot Robbie. We'll get to that in a second. It's Damien Chazelle's next movie. It's about Hollywood. That's really enough to get it in there. I don't know if it'll. I don't think it'll win. I think it'll definitely be nominated, though. I think it'll get a ton of nominations. It'll be one of those movies that gets a ton of nominations, but I don't know how much it's going to win. Maybe nothing. The number five, Women Talking. I think this will probably be MGM's biggest push now that 13 Lives has released, and it's gotten decent word of mouth, but I don't think it's strong enough word of mouth to become like a coda and like start release early and then like come back out at the end for a push. Who knows? Maybe it could be, but I think they're going to focus on Women Talking, MGM/Amazon, which now owns them. And I think this is the kind of movie that could put off some members of the Academy. I think it's a lot of talking. It's I don't think going to be a very uplifting movie. I think it's going to be pretty melancholic movie. Not very happy, but I think it'll be very well made, and I think it'll be I think there'll be enough Academy members within the Academy who like this kind of movie, and the older white male members of the Academy who may not like the movie, I don't think their numbers are strong enough to kick this out. I mean, and this is all if it is a well-made movie. I believe this is hitting the festivals. I'm not sure if it's been announced exactly where. I think it is going to TIFF because Sarah Polley is Canadian. So yeah, I think it's hitting the festivals. I think, yeah, it's definitely going to get in there in my opinion. 6, Empire of Light. Sam Mendes' next movie. Fox Searchlight, Olivia Colman, Colin Firth, I believe about like a cinema by the seaside, something like that. So it's also about movies, so they'll love that too. I think it'll be Searchlight's main push because if you look at the festivals, it seems like it's going to be their biggest, what they're going to put out there the most. I think it's definitely going to be their biggest contender this season is going to festivals. It's going to TIFF. I think it's maybe going to others. I remember TIFF. So yeah, I think it'll get in there. Number 7, Bardo. I have this lower than maybe some other people just because I don't know. There's some controversy surrounding this movie. I don't think it's really going to pan out in hurting the movie's chances, but the movies above this, I'm pretty sure none of them really have any controversy surrounding them that I'm aware of, at least. So I don't think that's going to like potentially hurt any of those movies. I do think there is the whole COVID protocol thing. I don't know if that's going to like, I don't even know how like true those rumors are, if they're going to resurface during the campaign season, but that also lowers it for me, as well as I don't know, I'm just not, I feel like it's been a while since Inarritu released his last film. I feel like Hollywood has changed a lot since then, and I feel like he is the kind of director that maybe pre-Me Too movement and all of Hollywood kind of stepping up their game a little bit. He was very celebrated. He'll probably still be very celebrated, but he's a little bit of a problematic director. But I think his work, they love his work. He gets nominated for like everything, so he'll probably still get in there. And it's like Netflix's biggest contender, and they're putting it in all the festivals. So I guess it's more of a personal bias for me having it this low, but I think it'll still get in there. Number 8, I don't think most people have this in there. I don't know. I have Elvis at my number 8. I think Warner Brothers has a contender pretty much every season. And their slate is pretty thin this season. And I think this is obviously their biggest contender. It'd be either this or Don't Worry, Darling. And I think this movie has a better chance than Don't Worry, Darling, even though Don't Worry, Darling is going to some festivals. I believe it was expected to go to 1 or 2, and it like ended up not going, but it's going to at least 1, I think. I think Venice or something. Don't quote me, but yeah, that seems like the kind of movie that maybe is a little too out there for them, and Elvis is kind of like the movie that is like, it's very stylish, but it's a biopic. And it seems like most people really like the movie. It's doing good at the box office. Pretty great reviews. Everyone's raving about Austin Butler. There's some great technical aspects to the movie that will definitely be nominated. So yeah, I think this is strong. It's getting to picture, and I'm keeping it in there. Number 9, this is a recent addition. I put in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. That trailer shocked me. I think it shocked everyone. And the response to the trailer, I mean, this is probably going to be one of the, we can talk about it right now. There's 3 blockbusters right now that have a good chance of getting into picture. We've got, as I just mentioned, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Top Gun: Maverick, obviously, and Avatar 2. I think they've all got pretty good shots of getting into picture. I think they'll all get technical nominations no matter what. But in terms of getting into picture, I have to look at which one of these movies is going to make the audiences feel the most. Like, I think they'll all be very technically well done, so that they'll all be on, I don't know, quite the same level technically. Some might be like a little better than others, but they'll all be like tech contenders. But in terms of feeling the most, I think Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is going to make audiences feel and like have emotion and like feelings towards the movie much more than, I think Avatar 2 is going to be much more like technical focused rather than like, I don't know how many emotions you'll feel in Avatar 2. We haven't seen the movie, but I don't mean you don't feel a ton in the first movie. It was more about the whole technical marvel. So I think Black Panther will definitely make you feel more than that movie. And then Top Gun: Maverick, there's definitely some emotions within that movie, especially for people who are nostalgic for the first one. But I still think everything going on with Black Panther Wakanda Forever and honoring Chadwick Boseman and just the whole process that they probably had to go through making that movie, a very difficult process, I'm sure, for all of the actors and everyone on set. So I think that's going to get in there. I think it'll be the blockbuster that gives people the most emotion and feelings, and that's what gives it the level above the other two. So yeah, that's my number 9, and we'll maybe talk about that movie a little bit later. And then number 10, I really struggled with number 10 here. I have Avatar 2 and Top Gun Maverick right outside because I'm not sure. I think one of them could definitely get in there. I think we could definitely have room for either 2 of the 3 blockbusters that I just mentioned. I don't think we'll get all 3. I just couldn't pick between the 2. We've seen Top Gun Maverick. I think it could definitely take like a Ford v Ferrari route of like barely getting into picture and really just getting like some tech nominations like sound and editing and stuff like that. I think it could definitely have that route. That could definitely happen. I could see that for that movie. It seems very likely. It just depends how strong these other contenders that are fighting for that last spot with it are. Sight unseen, we don't know a ton about Avatar right now. I would say Top Gun is stronger, but who knows? Never doubt Cameron. And then, I mean, the other ones is just like, I'm gonna end up putting She Said at my number 10. I'm not completely confident about that, if I'm being honest. I really like the trailer. It kind of seems like Spotlight vibes. It just really depends if Hollywood is ready, if they think it's like maybe too early for this subject, if they're ready to embrace a movie about Harvey Weinstein and the Me Too movement and sexual assault. I would think and I would hope that they would be, but who knows? As I mentioned, there are definitely some old dogs still in the Academy, still voting. I mean, it just depends on the quality of the movie too. I will say the trailer surprised me, at least in terms of cinematography. I think it looked better than I expected it to. I think it's going to be a good movie. Also, I mean, it's Universal also has The Fabelmans to push this year, so I think they can get 2 in there. But that's also a factor. But I'm confident enough to put it at number 10, with the outside chance of course, we've got Top Gun Maverick, very possible. Maybe Avatar 2. Other honorable mentions, Banshees of Inisherin. I think it's going very unnoticed right now. It's pretty. It's from Martin McDonagh, who did 3 Billboards. His last movie was a pretty big Oscar contender. You may know it. 3 Billboards. So yeah, I mean, his next movie, I don't really know a ton about it. I think it's hitting a few festivals, so I think it's possible. What else do we have? Triangle of Sadness has already hit some festivals. I think it'll be hitting more. Neon's only really big contender this season, so it's possible. I don't know if it's maybe too weird for them, but then again, I had Everything Everywhere All at Once at number 3. So I think as long as I mean, the whole too weird for the Academy thing honestly confuses me sometimes because they just need to like the movie. They've nominated weird stuff before. They've given weird movies like the Best Picture win before. I mean, Shape of Water won Best Picture, and it's about a woman who has a sexual relationship with an amphibian, like human. So if they like the weird shit, they'll vote for it. That's all that really matters, in my opinion, personally. So yeah, and then other honorable mentions, Tar, who knows? I think that may be just a Blanchett contender, but it's Todd Field. White Noise is like a complete wild card for me right now. It's going to festivals, so that will be helpful in terms of predicting it. The source material, very weird stuff from what I've heard. So it may be too out there for the Academy, but like I just said, with the weird thing, if they like it, they'll vote for it. I mean, if it's weird shit that they like, they'll vote for it. So it just depends if they like it. And it's got a great cast, and it's Noah Baumbach, so I think it's definitely possible. I mean, Netflix has gotten at least, I mean, the past like 3 years, Netflix has gotten at least 2 movies into picture, I'm pretty sure. Right now, I just have Bardo predicted, so I think if they wanted to get another one in there, it would be White Noise, is what I would guess. So keep an eye out for that one. The Whale, I think is possible. I just don't trust A24 enough, to be honest, to get 2 movies into Best Picture. Maybe with a lineup of 10 movies, that's possible. But right now, I'm holding back on that. Greatest Beer Run Ever. It's an Apple contender. And Apple just won Best Picture. So who knows what they'll end up pushing. They've also, I mean, they as I mentioned, they've lost Killers of the Flower Moon to next season. So I think they're contenders this year. You've got Greatest Beer Run Ever. You've got that Jennifer Lawrence Causeway movie, which I think will just be a vehicle for her probably. Apparently Emancipation is coming out this season, so we'll see how that whole situation goes. Mystery to me right now. And then I think I would love for Cha Cha Real Smooth to be a contender, but I don't see it happening right now. So I think Greatest Beer Run Ever is there most likely one? I mean, it's from a director who his movie did win Best Picture, as much as we may not like to admit that. It did happen, and I believe it's hitting some fall festivals. And that's really it for honorable mentions. Maybe After Sun, but then again, I believe that's A24. That got a lot of good festival buzz, but that's A24, so eh. And maybe Till. I saw the trailer for Till. Danielle Deadweller looks like she's doing a really good job. The rest of the movie, I'm a little unsure about, so I'll throw it in honorable mention, but I don't know about that. So that's Best Picture. Okay, now moving on to Best Director, where I'm also struggling. I'm struggling with winners in most of these categories. I'm more confident in the acting ones, though, to be honest. But picture and director, I'm struggling. Which is, it's most people struggle this far out. Let's be honest. But yeah, director, my number one. I do not have Spielberg. I think this may be a year where picture and director do not match. Who knows? But yeah, I've got the Daniels from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Insane, because I know some people are predicting they may not even be nominated. I think they'll be nominated. I think the movie is a strong enough contender, and I think it's the kind of movie that directors would like. It's not like a contender where it's like per se Coda, where it's like not, you don't really think about the direction that much within that movie when you're watching it. This movie has a lot of great technical aspects to it. That's a lot of what like the directors like to vote for. So I think they'll get in there. And I think if I were to predict a winner, I mean, in terms of likelihood, they wouldn't be my number one, but in terms of winning, I guess they're my number one right now, just because I don't see a repeat for Spielberg or Chazelle, to be honest. I mean, maybe Spielberg. I don't see that for Chazelle. And I don't think maybe here, let's just go through the list. I don't want to give away. So number one, I have the Daniels. Number two, I do have Spielberg. I think it's possible that he could win. I think he's only won. He's either won one or two. I think he may have only won one for directing. I mean, don't quote me on that. He may have won two, but it's been a while since he's won an Oscar. How about that? And I mean, he just did one of his best movies in a long time last year. And this is a very personal movie for him. It's about like kind of like his childhood. So they like that. So possible, but I think they may award him somewhere else, which we'll get to. So he's my number two. Number three, Sarah Polley, Women Talking. I think after the Greta Gerwig situation in 2019 / 2020, I think the Academy and the director's branch has noticed that they don't vote for women directors nearly enough, and I think that they keep their eye out more for those kind of contenders. I think there will be definitely a woman nominated this year, because I think Sarah Polley is going to direct that movie incredibly. I've seen a little bit of her past work. She's a great director, and I think I don't know how technical of a movie it will be, but I think the acting will be incredible, and that comes from great direction also. So yeah, I think the movie is going to be a big enough contender. I think she'll get in there. For Damien Chazelle, Babylon, it's about Hollywood. He's a previous winner. I think there'll be some fun technical stuff to the movie. So yeah, I think he's getting in there. But I could see him missing. The first three, I don't really see, maybe Daniels. Spielberg and Polley, I don't see missing. I could see Chazelle missing in a world where Babylon underperforms. And then number five, I should really go with Iñárritu here just because they love him. And there's usually at least one foreign film director contender in director most years of the past few years. So I should probably go with Iñárritu, but I'm going to go with Florian Zeller for The Son. He missed director for The Father, but he did still win an Oscar that year. And I think he's going to continue doing incredible work. I think he is a very, very good upcoming director. So yeah, I mean, I could look at maybe it's not like a technical, kind of like the Father was kind of like very technically well directed. So never mind. I think he'll do a great job there too. So yeah, those were my top five. Iñárritu is definitely number six. I mean, he'll probably be nominated. Once again, personal bias plays a little bit of a factor in these predictions sometimes. Just a little bit. I try and keep it down to a minimum, but just a little bit. Then Sam Mendes for Empire of Light, I think is also very possible. He got in for 1917. He was very close to winning for 1917. He is a previous winner, but I think Empire of Light is going to be a pretty big contender. He's very possible. Other than that, maybe James Cameron for Avatar 2. Never doubt the Cameron. Maybe. I don't think so. And then Maria Schrader for She Said. possible, if women talking, or when a few of these movies underperform, I think I could see her getting in there. But right now, I don't think so. And I think that's about it for directors. I'm not really seeing a ton of other people who I'd maybe throw in onto Best Actress, which is always my favorite category to predict because I believe that actresses most years tend to give the best of the performances. There are some years where that's not the case, like in 2020/2021. I think that Best Actor lineup, I mean, incredible stuff. But yeah, Best Actress, most people would have a different number one than me. Right now, my number one is Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Never nominated for an Oscar, I believe. I think this is what many people consider to be her best work yet. And she really does get to do everything everywhere all at once in this movie. She does comedy, she does action, she does like plenty of dramatic stuff, sad stuff, angry stuff. She does like every emotion in this movie. She kills it. I think she is very overdue. I think the industry knows that she's overdue. Everyone knows her name. Everyone knows who she is. She just hasn't really had an opportunity like this in a while. And I don't know, hopefully she does in the future, but I don't know how many opportunities like this she will have in the future. So this may be like the prime moment to honor her as the incredible actress that she is. So I'm going with that. Another factor that played into my decision of not putting my number two, who's Margot Robbie at number one, who most people have at number one right now for Babylon. I was just looking at the previous Best Actress winners, and like most of them, like the majority of them, their movie ended up going to at least one fall festival, or festival in general, which Everything Everywhere All at Once did go to festival. Sundance, way back. So I'm counting that. But most of them ended up going to festivals, and Babylon doesn't seem like it's going to any festivals. So I don't know how much that really matters per se, but that's part of my reasoning for putting her at number two. But she's still a really big contender. I mean, I think, but there's going to be moments in the future where plenty of moments. I mean, this is going to be her third nomination. There's going to be plenty of moments within the future where you can nominate Margot Robbie. She keeps working. She's hustling. She's always doing great work. With Michelle Yeoh, I hope there is in the future, but I can't guarantee that. I feel like I could guarantee that with Margot Robbie, but this could be the only chance that they have to award Michelle Yeoh. So I think that also gives her a better shot, at least in my opinion. The number three, Cate Blanchett, Tar, pretty undeniable in my opinion. I mean, did you see that trailer? I mean, and she's Cate Blanchett. She could win like the Volpe Cup or something. We'll see very soon. Yeah, it's going to the festivals, which is also, as I just mentioned, a good sign for winning. So who knows? Maybe she could win her third Oscar. I mean, she is, outside of Meryl Streep, I think she may be the most respected actress currently within the industry. Her, Viola Davis also. I think she's very high up there in terms of how much people respect her and her acting ability. Everyone loves her and everyone thinks she's extremely talented, which she is. So she'll do something extremely amazing within this movie, I'm sure, just from that trailer alone. So yeah, I think she's definitely getting in there. There's a world where she could win. Right now, I think I don't know about that. Then number four, I've got Olivia Colman for Empire of Light. I mean, how much do I need to say here? It's Olivia Colman. She's been nominated. She was nominated last year. She's been nominated like the last 3 or so years, I believe. She missed in 2019, but she's been nominated a lot. And rightfully so. Every one of those nominations she deserved. She's an incredible actress. Obviously, she's very respected. She became she broke out with The Favorite, and now everyone's just like, I adore her, and I also adore her. So who can blame her? She does incredible work. And I think the movie in general is going to be a contender. It's going to go to fall festivals. I believe she's playing a schizophrenic person within the movie. So hopefully they handle that well, which I'm sure Olivia Colman would know how to handle that well within her performance. And I mean, she'll just give a great performance, and she's Olivia Colman. So yeah, that's why she's my number four. And then number five, I'm going to go with Naomi Ackie for I Want to Dance with Somebody. If you saw my last predictions video back in May, she was my number one. I don't think she'll win, to be honest. I was just trying to pick something outside of Margot Robbie to be different, which I'm still doing. Gotta be different somehow. But I mean, this is from Anthony McCartan, who has written movies that I think have won like actors 3 or 4 Oscars, leading Oscars within like the past within like the past 5 years, maybe decade. So he knows how to write a good script for some good performance moments that is baity enough for the Academy to be like, I love that. Let me nominate it. and give it some accolades. And she's playing Whitney Houston. I mean, that biopic where she's playing Whitney Houston, she's probably going to sing, which they also love. She's going to cry. She's going to have emotions. And her dialogue is going to be written by Anthony McCartan. I mean, that kind of explains itself for why she's my number 5. But if the movie's bad, she could miss. I mean, but Andra Day still got in for Billie Holiday, and that was not the best reviewed movie. So yeah, I think she'll probably get in there. But it releases in prime award season time. It releases around Christmas, which could hurt her win wise. So I don't think she'll win, but I think she's getting in there. And then honorable mentions, Carey Mulligan. I have no clue where they're putting the She Said actresses. They seem pretty even co-leads, Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan, but I really don't think that they're going to go the Ford v Ferrari route if they're both leads, because we saw what that did there. That just like immediately knocks them both out of contention. So I imagine they'll go someone lead and someone supporting, or they could put everyone in supporting. There's a world where they do that too. So if she's in lead, Carey Mulligan would be my number 6. And then we've got Regina King for Shirley. Obviously, Regina King, beloved actress, just recently won an Oscar. She's playing, I believe, the first Black female U.S. senator or something like that. Something. Don't quote me on that, but something like that. It seems like a good role for a good performance. I'm sure she'll do a great job. I don't know how good the movie will be per se. I believe it's a Netflix movie, so who knows? But yeah, I think even if the movie isn't the best, I think her performance will still be really good. Danielle Deadwyler for Till. She obviously, I mean, she looks like she's doing an incredible job within that trailer. She's going to carry the whole movie on her back. There are plenty of moments within the trailer that I was like, yeah, that looks like a pretty great performance. Could be very much like Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, where she's kind of like the only nomination for the movie. But right now, yeah, I have her at like number 8. Viola Davis, Women King. I just don't know how much the Academy is going to go for this movie. It also releases in September, so that hurts its chances. It's going to a few fall festivals. I'm sure Viola Davis will do a great job. I just don't think that this one's like an Oscar contender. Is really my main reason. And then Ana de Armas for Blonde. There's another trailer released recently. She's not completely nailing the accent, but she seems to be nailing everything else, and she looks very similar to Marilyn Monroe. I think the movie is going to be a little too controversial for her to get in there. She could end up winning like the Volpe Cup or something like that, which could help her chances. But I don't know. I think it'll be a little too controversial for her to get in there. Especially since, I mean, it's kind of like Marilyn Monroe's kind of like, I guess what like Princess Diana was to Britain is kind of like Marilyn Monroe is to what it is to the U.S. It's like a similar icon to the U.S. And the BAFTAs didn't go for Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana in a controversial biopic about her. So I don't know if the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, is that what they're called? I forget what they're called. I don't know if they'll go, they're called something like that. I don't know if they'll go for that. So that's why she's my number 10. I believe that's pretty much it for actress. Now on to actor, where I think I'm just going to keep the same guy at number 1, probably for the whole season. Hugh Jackman for The Son. I mean, we saw what Florian Zeller did with the last lead actor that he directed, to Anthony Hopkins delivering his best performance yet. Directed by Florian Zeller. Hugh Jackman, kind of, I would say, overdue. I don't think as much as other actors have been. He's only been nominated once, but I think he's very well respected within the industry. And I think people are ready to give him an award. I don't think people are going to be like, oh, it's not his time yet. I think he's definitely, it could be his time for sure. And based on the play, based on it being Florian Zeller, there's definitely going to be, and like the description of the whole situation, there's going to be some dramatic, juicy stuff for him to do. So yeah, he's my number 1. And he'll stay there for a while, I'm pretty sure. Number 2, Austin Butler for Elvis. I mean, one of, if not my favorite performances so far this year. Is he does incredible work. I don't think the Academy not liking younger actors, which is true, younger male actors, I don't think that will hurt him in terms of getting nominated. I think he'll definitely be nominated. In terms of a win, it could hurt him, maybe. But it's the kind of performance that they love, and I think they will absolutely eat up this kind of performance. So yeah, he's getting in there. Brendan Fraser, The Whale. I mean, it's Brendan Fraser in a Darren Aronofsky movie. I think they'll handle the whole subject matter right. I don't think that'll be a huge controversy about eating disorders and pretty much eating himself to death. Hopefully they handle that well. I think they will. And I think Brendan Fraser is going to absolutely kill it. I think there's going to be a lot of lovely, amazing praise and buzz for him leaving the festivals. I think especially critics will be very much behind Brendan Fraser and this movie. I think people are ready for a Fraser stance, and I am as well. So I think he's definitely getting in there. Those first three, I could see any of them winning. Right now, I'd stick with Hugh Jackman, but I could see Austin Butler winning. To be honest, I could see with Butler or Fraser them being like the lead acting performance combined with the makeup win, because I think both of those movies will also be nominated for makeup. So I'm having Jackman as my winner right now, but I could see it for either of those two. And then we've got some empty spots because of movies being delayed. We got apparently Rustin. I mean, I'm predicting as if Rustin and Killers of the Flower Moon are going to be 2023 releases, as has been rumored and kind of reported on. So yeah, that's why you do not see Coleman Domingo or Leo here. If they were, both of those movies do end up releasing this season, they would be my probably not higher than 4 and 5. They would both be in my top 5, but I don't think they will be. So my number 4 is excuse my pronunciation if I mess it up, Daniel Jimenez Cacho for Bardo. It's Inarritu. He almost always gets an actor in for his movies. It's Netflix's biggest contender, so it'll probably happen. And he seems to be a pretty well-respected actor within his industry. So yes, and then my last spot, I was struggling here. Adam Driver for White Noise, maybe Diego Calva for Babylon, maybe Bill Nighy for Living, maybe Paul Mescal for After Sun. Who knows? I ended up going with Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin. I don't even know if he'll be lead or supporting. I just know Colin Farrell is going to have an amazing year with this movie, The Batman, After Yang, 13 Lives. I mean, it's a Colin Farrell kind of year. So I think he will deserve a nomination. I think he'll do a good job in this movie. I think people will recognize. I've seen him like everywhere this year, and he's doing incredible work everywhere he goes. So I mean, I'm not super confident in it, but there's some empty spaces in actor right now, so he is my number 5. Next most likely, I would probably put Adam Driver or Diego Calva. And then outside of that, who knows? I have no clue. Now into the supporting categories. Let's start with supporting actress. I mean, I had Lily Gladstone at number 1 a little bit earlier, but that movie has now been delayed. So I'm going all in. Michelle Williams, The Fabelmans. I mean, it adds up. The math, it adds up. I mean, Michelle Williams, well-respected actress, been nominated many times before. Playing Steven Spielberg's mom, who I believe he is like kind of very well known, at least within the industry. I believe she like owned a pancake shop or something. Don't quote me on this stuff, but I think Steven Spielberg loved his mom, and I think it's going to be a good role. I think she's going to be a consistent character throughout the movie. I don't think she's going to disappear, like maybe Paul Dano's character may. And I mean, it just adds up. Steven Spielberg, I mean, he's going to give the supporting actress Oscar for last year, and he's going to do it again this year. So yeah, I think that's the most likely shot right now. But I mean, we haven't seen most of these movies that I'm going to be talking about in supporting actress. So, I mean, we can only really go off what we know right now. So yeah, that's why she's my number 1. Number 2, Vanessa Kirby, The Sun. As I said, this movie is going to be full of juicy acting moments. She's recently nominated in 2020/2021. I think she'll have some juicy moments and she'll do a good job, and the movie will be a huge contender, so she'll get in there. Jesse Buckley, Women Talking. From what I've heard, have not read the book, I've just heard that her role is probably going to be like one of the, as I keep saying, juicier roles in terms of acting. So I think, and she was just nominated last year. So I would put her as the one I would have getting in for Women Talking. There's a ton of great actresses in that movie. I mean, Claire Foy, Frances McDormand. There's going to be plenty of other people who could potentially get that spot. Right now, I'm going to stick with Jessie Buckley. Number 4, this is where, there's almost always in the past few years been a double nomination for a movie in supporting actor or actress, more often actor than actress. But right now I have that for supporting actress. I have Laura Dern getting in for The Sun. I think people are saying Kirby has like the bigger and better role. I think Dern is still going to have a lot to do in this movie, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't read the play. I don't really know anything about it, so maybe I should listen to other people. But I think she's still going to have a lot to do, and I think she's well respected, so I think she'll get in there. And then I struggled with this last spot. I'm going to stick with Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's the one I'm least confident in terms of acting within that movie. I mean, obviously she gave a great performance, but she's just not like, she doesn't have like the narrative that say Ke Huy Quan has, or Michelle Yeoh, or just the established name as much as they have. But I think she could be, I think it's between her, honestly, and Sadie Sink. I think for The Whale, I think one of them may get like they like nominating younger actors more than younger guys. But like Lucas Hedges still ended up getting in for, what was that movie, Manchester by the Sea. So I think that could be one of the younger actor spots taken up there by Stephanie Hsu or Sadie Sink for The Whale. I'm rooting for both of them, honestly. Sadie Sink did incredible work in Stranger Things, and I was really sad she didn't get nominated. So hopefully she does for The Whale. I think she's definitely got a juicier role than Hong Chow is for that movie. So I would stick with her if you're going to predict a supporting actress for that movie. And there's also a world where maybe another woman talking actress gets in, and that's your double nomination there. Outside of that, I used to have Whoopi Goldberg until very high up. She wasn't even in the trailer, so I'm kind of lowering that a lot. Zoe Kazan for She Said definitely could happen if she's running supporting. We don't really know category placement there. And then Jean Smart, Babylon. From what I've heard, it's a pretty small role, so I don't think it'll be enough for her to get in there. But she's very beloved, especially recently, winning a lot of Emmys for Hacks. I mean, one, but she's going to win another one very soon. So yeah, that's supporting actress currently. Now onto the category that was most affected by Killers of the Flower Moon being delayed here. I had Plemons and De Niro both in there, and now I'm going to have to kick them both out and fill them up with other spots. What helps here is because I had Michelle Williams as my number one, or as my number two, because I had Lily Gladstone as my number one in supporting actress. I had Paul Dano as my number one in supporting actor here. I just don't see a world where it hasn't happened in like forever. I don't even know if it's ever happened before. A movie wins both of the supporting categories for actor and actress. So I think now that Lily Gladstone is out of the picture, Michelle Williams is stronger. So that's why Paul Dano is no longer my number one here. He's my number two for The Fabelmans. My number one is now Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, the performance is there. It's an incredible performance. Kind of the heart of the movie. As very much like Troy Kotsur was the heart of Coda, I think Ke Huy Quan as another father figure here is very much the heart of this movie. So I think that will help him. On top of that, he's also just got the narrative of him like leaving the industry because there weren't enough roles for Asian actors, and now I'm finally coming back for this amazing role. So I think he's got the narrative and the role, and I think people will just love him as they should. So I think he's my number one. I'm going for it. Then two is Paul Dano. Three, I've now got Brad Pitt for Babylon. I'm pretty sure he's supporting. For some reason, he's still lead on Gold Derby, but I'm pretty sure he's supporting. So I'm sticking with him there just because he's Brad Pitt, and he's in a big Oscar, like top 5 Best Picture contending movie. I don't really know anything else about the role, but I think that's enough to put him in there. With Paul Dano, I guess I should quickly talk about that. He's Spielberg's dad, which is a complicated relationship, I'm pretty sure. He may be in and out of the movie, like an absent dad, maybe. I don't know. I don't know a ton about Steven Spielberg's childhood and how much like they're adapting. So I think it'll be a strong enough performance for him to get in there. I don't know if it'll be strong enough for a win, because he also may not be the most likable character. And they tend to go for likable people here. Number 4 is Zen McGrath for The Sun. I mean, this is what happens when you got two Killers of the Flower Moon spots opened up. You have room for what I'm sure. I mean, the movie is named after him, The Sun. I'm sure he's going to give an incredible performance. I believe he's a theatrical actor, I think. Once again, don't quote me on that. I believe he is. And yeah, I mean, the movie's focused around him. I'm sure he'll have some like juicy moments. And he could very much be like Lucas Hedges was, like the one young actor who gets in there. My 5th spot, I'm really struggling with finding spots here. I'm tempted to go with I think Colin Firth is supporting in Empire of Light. I just don't know how big. I don't even know what his role is, and I don't know how big his role is, so I don't know how confident I am in putting him there. I'm also flirting with Ben Whishaw for Woman Talking. Apparently the narrator of the film, really the only male character within the film per se, like decent character at least. And I'm also maybe Tom Hanks for Elvis because I have that movie in picture. I don't think so right now. Then maybe Seth Rogen for The Fabelmans. Because that could be where I think he is going to be the likable. I think he's kind of because he's Steven Spielberg's uncle. I think it's going to kind of be the male figure in Steven Spielberg's life when his father isn't either like being a nice figure or not in the picture. I think Seth Rogen will be a very likable character in that movie. So even if the performance isn't incredible, I think he'll be likable enough in the movie that if the field's kind of weak, like it's kind of looking like right now, he could get in there and be another place where he could get that double nomination in the supporting categories. Very possible. So I could see that happening. Kind of like Kieran Hines for Belfast. And this movie is very similar to Belfast in some ways. So I'm going between him or Ben Whishaw for Women Talking. I just don't. I think they're going to focus more on the women actors in Women Talking, to be honest. So I'm going to go with Seth Rogen, I guess, for The Fabelmans. That's probably like the prediction I'm least confident in so far, because now I've got double nominees in both supporting actor and actress. But that's what I'm going with for now. Judge me if you wish. And then outside of that, I mean, maybe Colin Farrell or Viggo Mortensen for 13 Lives. Maybe Woody Harrelson for Triangle of Sadness. That's possible. Maybe. Maybe Russell Crowe for Greatest Hero Ever. Maybe, yeah, I'm running out of stuff that I truly believe in. So yeah, that's pretty much it for supporting actor. Okay, now on to adapted screenplay, where no longer got Killers of the Flower Moon here. But my number one remains the same. It is Women Talking. I don't think Star Poly is going to win director right now, in my honest opinion. And I think this is where they're going to award her. I think very much kind of like an Emerald Fennell route, maybe, where she gets nominated for director, but I don't think she's going to win. But I think they're still going to honor her somewhere, and that will be in adapted screenplay. It was original for Fennell, but it will be adapted here. I think they're gonna go for this movie, and I think they're gonna wanna award Star Poly, and this is where they will do it. Number 2, I have The Son. I just don't think it's gonna win because he did just win for The Father. So yeah, I think it'll be a big contender overall, as I have said earlier, but I don't think he'll win screenplay again. Maybe it's possible. That'll be amazing for him. He can brag about that. Adapted screenplay is tough, guys. Number 3, I have She Said, which I barely had getting into picture. So yeah, not a lot of adapted screenplays in picture this year, I guess. But yeah, She Said, I think it'll definitely get into screenplay at least. I don't know, it just makes sense to me. I don't really know how to explain it. It's about journalism and it's about writing and all that stuff. And I just think it'll get in there. Seems like the kind of movie that would, like Spotlight, which I think won screenplay. The number 5. Oh wait, no, number 4. Number 4, I have The Whale. This is getting in there mostly because of. Actually, I think I had it at number 5 before Killers of the Flower Moon was kicked out, but it's jumped up a spot. I think it'll be a big enough contender, and I think just the field here is weak in adapted screenplay. So I think it'll be a bigger contender than some of these other movies below. So I think it'll probably still get in there. And the people seem to really like the play, so it's adapting from that. So the number 5, Glass Onion, Knives Out got in for original screenplay in 2019. Now it's an adapted screenplay, I guess, just because it's a sequel. Even though it's probably an original screenplay, it's adapted. I don't know how this whole process works. But yeah, I mean, the first one got in. I think I've heard. I mean, I don't know how much you should trust it, but I've heard the movie lives up to the first one and that it's very good. I mean, this is the only movie that Netflix has considered this year putting out in theaters for like 45 days before putting it on streaming. So I think that should, and they're also putting it out in festivals. So that should show you that they're confident in it. So yeah, I think that's very possible. The only other one I would say is also fighting for that 5th spot with Knives Out and The Whale. In those last spots, White Noise, once again, complete wild card if they like it, if it's the weird stuff that they do like, if it's a big, like Netflix's number 2 contender, it would get into the screenplay. But right now, I don't know. And then I don't know, outside of that, Till maybe, Avatar 2, Elvis, I doubt any of that's going to happen. But it's really like 6 movies fighting for the 5 spots there. So we'll see how that goes. Then original screenplay. Lots of people got Everything Everywhere All at Once at number 1 here. I do not. I have it at number 2 because I think right now I've got the Daniels winning director. I've got the Fablemans winning here. I mean, it just makes sense to me. They're going to want to honor Spielberg for this movie. Spielberg personally, because it's a personal story for him. It's very much about him. They're going to want to give him himself, not the movie an Oscar, but him himself an Oscar. But he did produce a movie, so he would still get an Oscar if he won picture. But they want to make sure he does get something personally where he like gets his moment up on the stage. That's how I'm thinking right now. So I think this is where they'll do that for him. And it's also written by Tony Kushner, who they will also, I think, want to honor. I think just did West Side Story, beloved screenwriter. I don't think he has won an Oscar yet. So I think they're going to want to honor him as well. I mean, that's like 2 birds with 1 stone. You get to honor both of them in one win. And it's also like the first time Spielberg has written a movie in like forever. So I think that's my number 1. I'm pretty confident in that, to be honest. 2, Everything Everywhere, like I said. 3, Babylon. It's getting into picture. Probably it'll be a big overall contender. Don't think it'll win, but it'll be a big contender. 4, Empire of Light. Same thing. Sam Mendes is going to be a big contender overall. Most of these are just movies that are in picture, which is tricky with original screenplay because there's more original screenplays that I have predicted in picture right now than I do have adapted. Then 5, I'm going with, there's usually like original screenplay tends to go with at least like one, like truly like out there. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once could really be that this year, to be honest, like out there, different, truly original screenplay, which could definitely be Everything Everywhere. But I'm also going with Triangle of Sadness, which is definitely not like completely their fare, but I think it's as from the festivals, a very well-made movie, it seems like. And I think it may be a movie that they want to honor somewhere. It may be that kind of like sole screenplay nominee that we see in a lot of years. I could see that happening for this movie. It's still going to more festivals, so it'll keep having buzz going around. It's really the only thing Neon can push really this year. So yeah, that's my number 5. And then plenty of other potential contenders. Tar could maybe get in there. Bardo, of course, could get in there, but I think it'll be more directing than writing. Banshees of Inisherin, I mean, I believe he won. No, he didn't win for 3 Billboards, but maybe he did. I don't know. I don't think he did. Banshees of Inisherin, maybe Don't Worry, Darling, because it is original, it's out there. Maybe Decision to Leave, but I'm pretty confident in those 5 right there. And then quickly touching on some of the texts, cinematography. I mean, Roger Deakins is in there, so I'll just quickly go over who I think may win. I think maybe Empire of Light or Babylon could win here. Maybe Bardo, but I would say with Empire of Light or Babylon for right now. Editing, it's between Everything Everywhere All at Once and Top Gun Maverick for me. I think Everything Everywhere is who I would predict right now. Production design, maybe Babylon. I mean, because they do. I mean, like with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they love their old time Hollywood production design. Maybe that. Who knows? Maybe Black Panther. Maybe Elvis. But I would stick with Babylon right now. Costume design. This is tricky. Maybe I think Elvis will definitely be like number 1 or 2. Maybe I mean, it depends. We have to see the movie, but Babylon, old time Hollywood could also definitely win here. Those are the main ones I would say. Maybe Black Panther, Wakanda Forever also, because I believe that won for the first one. So also I would say between those 3 for a win right now. Makeup and hairstyling, it's very much the Batman, the Whale, and Elvis, I would say, are definitely your top 3 there. Right now, I'd say either the Batman or the Whale. I'd say the Whale. Let's just go with the Whale, just because I think that'll be more of a contender above the line. Elvis, you've also got the acting nomination. You've got I Have It in Picture. You've got it like the prosthetics towards the end. So between those 3 for a win. For score, we no longer have Thomas Newman doing Empire of Light, so he can't win this year, which is tragic. So I'd probably end up going with John Williams for the Fablemans. I mean, it's going to be one of his last final scores. It makes sense. Yeah, that's really all I can think of. Maybe Justin Hurwitz for Babylon, maybe. Sound, come on, guys. Top Gun Maverick is winning that. Visual effects, I mean, come on, guys. Avatar: The Way of Water is winning that. Animated is a tricky one, to be honest, for me. I don't know what's winning animated right now. It's not going to be Lightyear. I don't even know if that's going to end up being nominated, to be honest. I think Turning Red will be nominated. I don't know if that's going to be winning contender. That would be definitely in my top 2 or 3. I don't think Strange World looks good enough to be a winning contender, but maybe. I'd honestly say either Pinocchio or My Father's Dragon, just because that My Father's Dragon studio, or Wendell in the Wind. Oh God, it's tricky, guys. I'll just say My Father's Dragon, or Pinocchio. One of those two. International, it's gonna go to Bardo. And then documentary, I'd say Fire of Love probably. Had a ton of buzz outside of the festival. Either that or Navalny also is kind of very relevant nowadays, you could say. And then SAG Ensemble. This is a tricky one. This could like have its own video dedicated to it. There are so many great ensembles this year. I mean, maybe even Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever could, I mean, it won the first one. I think it could definitely be nominated here. Maybe, I don't think Babylon's ensemble is strong enough. Neither is the Fablemans. I think that's kind of like Power of the Dog or Marriage Story, where there's like 3 or 4 like contenders, but I don't know how much ensemble. Everything Everywhere All at Once is gonna win. Let's just go with that because I have it close to winning picture. So I think it could fit. I mean, Coda won, Parasite won. I think that the passion behind those movies could also be passion behind Everything Everywhere All at Once. So yeah, those are my Oscar predictions for the 2023 Oscars. Festival's coming up soon. Expect weekly Oscar talk to return very soon. A few weeks there where we'll have both weekly Emmy talk and weekly Oscar talk, which will be fun. As festival season is kicking back up, it's almost Oscar season time again, baby. So yeah, comment your predictions and thoughts down below. Like the video, subscribe, and thank you for watching.